What's going on, everybody? GoodMicWork commentaries back at you. I'm going to keep this one pretty short and sweet this week. All we're going to talk about in this episode is the announcement that the Crown Jewel pay-per-view on November 2nd will be taking place as planned and will be in Saudi Arabia. I'll offer a few comments on that, and then we'll get right into our Evolution predictions, and then I'm going to get out of here. For some reason, I am randomly swamped at work this week. It's been nuts. I didn't see it coming, kind of came out of nowhere, and I wasn't expecting it. So I've got a lot going on, and all of my energy is focused on my job right now, so I didn't really have a whole lot of time to come up here and do a long podcast, but I at least wanted to come up here and give you guys some predictions for Evolution because I have some interesting ideas. Speaking of Evolution, I will be up here live streaming and live reacting to the whole pay-per-view on Sunday, so you are welcome to join me. Make sure you give me a follow over on Twitter if you want to catch the link to that early, but I will be up here on Sunday reacting to that. I do have to work a little bit on Sunday before I even get home, before Evolution even starts, so kind of gives you an idea how crazy my week has been, but I think the pay-per-view might surprise us, especially as I was kind of jotting down some ideas and thoughts and opinions and predictions. I started thinking to myself that maybe all of this sourness that all of the fans have towards this pay-per-view, everybody's calling it lazy and it's going to suck, and nobody really has high expectations for it at all. And I'm thinking that maybe it might go in the other direction and turn out to be a really fun show. So we'll get into that here in a minute. It has been one crazy week in the world of professional wrestling. You know, this Crown Jewel situation is one of the weirder and more interesting kind of controversies that has arisen in pro wrestling over the years. We've never really seen a situation quite like this before, and we're only a couple of days removed from the heartbreaking loss made by Roman Reigns this past Monday on Raw that he is dealing with his second bout of leukemia and he has forfeited the Universal title, and WWE's top star is gone from the company indefinitely. And again, it's different than an injury, you know, or a concussion or a blown out knee where the fans are very sad and heartbroken for the wrestler. This is completely different. This is a life-threatening illness. I mean, Roman has cancer, and it really kind of shocked us all. And I'm still kind of reeling from it because stuff like that, just when it hits you out of the blue like that, you don't see it coming. So I know I've said this a million times, but just to reiterate, best of luck to Roman Reigns. We're all going to be thinking of you. We're all on your side, and we know you've got this. Incidentally, if you do want to hear what I had to say about the Roman Reigns situation this past Monday, I did a short one-off episode on it. I'll put the link right up there in the cards. I was up here for close to 6 hours on Monday night, streaming Monday Night Raw, watching it live. We all witnessed the Roman Reigns announcement together. It was very shocking. And then I hung out for a few hours afterwards and continued talking to you guys on the live chat. And then after that, I recorded about a 30-minute commentary giving my thoughts and opinions on the Roman Reigns situation and wishing him well. So if you would like to check that out, please do. But getting back to what I wanted to start with here about Crown Jewel, we know that the show is going to be in Saudi Arabia after all. I think WWE was really holding out to the last minute to potentially move the location. There was a lot of speculation that it could be moved to England. There was some speculation it could be moved back here to the States, maybe in New York. But WWE has made it official. They are going to go through with the Crown Jewel show as planned in Saudi Arabia. And this is an extremely unpopular decision. I'm not going to spend too much time on this because this story has been heavily covered by everybody out there. People on YouTube that talk about wrestling, wrestling journalists, mainstream news has picked up on this. I've seen everybody talk about the weird situation in Saudi Arabia and the murder of Jamal Khashoggi and everything that's surrounding that. It's been very weird, very delicate, very touchy, and it's sparked a lot of debate and a lot of outrage. A lot of fans, from what I could see today, after that announcement was made, were pretty upset. I really don't want this commentary to have a negative tone. That's why I'm not going to spend too much time on it. We're already heartbroken over the news of Roman Reigns. It hasn't exactly been the greatest week ever in professional wrestling, and there's a lot of shit for us fans to process. So this latest announcement, hey, I agree with you guys. It's fucked up. It sucks. I said right from the start when the rumors started coming around about Crown Jewel potentially being moved, I did a whole one-off episode on that. You can check that in the links as well if you want to hear what I had to say a few weeks ago about this. And I was of the opinion that they should not go over there. I mean, a lot of people are of the opinion that they should have never made this deal to begin with, and that was one of the things I first said months ago, is that, all right, WWE, this is an awful lot of money, but I hope it doesn't turn around to bite you in the ass one day, and we're not even 1 year in to this big 10-year deal they have with Saudi Arabia, and shit like this is going down. I'm glad I don't work for the WWE. I'm glad I'm not a wrestler there and I have to make this trip. There's been a lot of talk and a lot of rumors that many of the talent don't want to go. The two biggest names were John Cena and Daniel Bryan. Now, this past week on TV, everything was going forward as planned with the booking. There was no changes made to Daniel Bryan's match or John Cena's involvement in the World Cup. As of right now, prior to Evolution, they are still booked for the show. So if they really aren't going and WWE is going to tolerate them not going, that means this coming week on TV, WWE's got to scramble and not only change the WWE title match, which means now both of the world title matches at Crown Jewel were changed last minute with Roman Reigns relinquishing the belt, and you got to take probably the biggest star in the whole World Cup tournament out of there as well. So I don't know how you make that up to the Saudi audience. Maybe you bring in Hulk Hogan. He's been running his mouth all over social media, hinting that he's going to be there. So the whole thing is kind of a mess, and it's just, it's sticky, and it's just fucked up. And on top of that, you got the news of Roman Reigns that is, just thrown a huge wrench in WWE's plans. You got the stress and the controversy of this Crown Jewel show, and now WWE's going to have to go over there, and they're going to have to, they're going to have to endure a lot of criticism for this, not only from the fans, but from the media and the press. But, they took a long time to make this decision. So that means they thought about it thoroughly, and they still feel that it's in their best interest as a company, for the company's stock and for their profits and for their revenue, to go over there. And it's a shame, but that's kind of the way it is. There's so many companies, and big corporations that have no choice but to do business with that side of the world. There is a lot of money over there. It's kind of despicable and disgusting, and there's the term blood money being thrown around and all of that. And you know what? All you guys are right. You guys are 100% right. I'm not arguing with you on that at all. But if you're one of those people that say, I'm not going to watch this show, fine. You have every right to do that, and honestly, I don't blame you. But maybe you want to take a look at a lot of the other products you might be using that has some questionable business practices. This might be the first time wrestling fans are aware of shit like this because it's in their face. It's thrown right in their face with WWE. There's probably a lot more stuff going on, even worse than this, that none of us are really even aware of unless you do some research and educate yourself. So if you want to not watch the show, I think you have every right to do that. Now, unfortunately, it would carry more weight if the pay-per-view was being sold on pay-per-view for $40. And I think you could still purchase it, right? Can't you? Actually, maybe not. It might just be a network exclusive. But the point is, you're not really hurting the WWE, unless you're canceling your WWE network over this, which maybe some people are. But just simply not watching the show, it's just going to have to be your personal protest, because WWE doesn't care. They're getting their money from Saudi Arabia. They do not care, if Martha Smith from Ass Crack, Texas doesn't watch Crown Jewel. They don't give two shits. And a lot of people are asking me, hey, GoodMicWork, are you gonna boycott Crown Jewel and not watch it? Probably not. I don't see why. I mean, I'm going to be on the internet anyway. I'm home Friday morning. I'm going to see what's going on. I'll see it on Twitter. I'll see it on Facebook. I'll see it somewhere. It's not like I'm going to be unaware of what's happening at Crown Jewel. I don't see the point in really not watching it, because if I'm going to protest, like I said, the whole point of protesting, as we have seen in the NFL, is to do it to where it actually sends a message and people actually hear what you are saying and trying to protest. Nobody's going to understand the message that you're trying to send, if you're doing it in your living room by yourself. So I just don't know almost what the point is of not watching the show, but I can certainly understand fans' anger, and I can certainly understand the fans' frustration. And hey, if you're one of those people that is just too disgusted by this to watch, you're not going to get any arguments out of me whatsoever. I'll probably have some sort of a predictions video. We've got a lot to discuss with Crown Jewel, because maybe both of the world title matches are going to be flipped upside down. And I think this even intensifies the fact that we are just not going to see any title changes here. I really think that Braun and Brock are going to go to some sort of a non-finish. WWE just wants to get this fucking show out of the way. And I think having to go back and look at and reference a major title change in Saudi Arabia is something that WWE's probably not going to want to do. So I think they might just try to get through that match, have some sort of a non-finish, have Braun and Brock destroy the arena, and just be buried under the ring or the the pay-per-view set, or hell, maybe Brock just F5s the whole fucking building. I don't know. But they might just want to get through the match and crown your new Universal Champion at the Survivor Series. Or maybe even at the Royal Rumble if they want to make the title vacant for that long. I don't know. But I have a sneaking suspicion that if they were going to move Crown Jewel to a new venue, move it here to the States or move it to England, they would do the title change. Now that it's staying in Saudi Arabia, they might not. So, this might be the most glorified of glorified house shows we've ever seen. It's just a mess. I wish we didn't even have to deal with it. I just wish Crown Jewel didn't exist. I wish they never signed that deal. I wish they never had to go off and make these big super events and super cards because they're just in the way and they serve very little purpose. And my God, when they go to Saudi Arabia next week, it better not be this propaganda spewing like they did in the first pay-per-view, the Greatest Royal Rumble. They showed all those videos and the women driving and this new initiative and the 2030 plan or whatever the fuck all that shit is. I would really hope that WWE is going to tell them saying, look, all right, we're coming and we're going to do this show, but we are not going to talk about how great you are. You know what I mean? So, it's dirty, it's ugly, it's sticky. I wish the wrestling business didn't have to deal with this because you all know we got enough political bullshit that we have to endure every single day just in our personal lives, especially here in the United States. The last thing we want as wrestling fans is to have to worry about anything political inside of our wrestling business. This should be our haven. This should be our sanctuary, but it's not. It's turning into something that's getting more fucked up by the fucking day. But anyway, let's move on from that and start predicting Evolution. I wrote down all the matches, looked on WWE.com, made sure I had everything written down properly. And I'll tell you what, man, there's some interesting possibilities here. And my predictions are kind of all over the place. I'm a little bit concerned that I might not be right on some of these. I had, up until a few minutes ago, all but one babyface winning. I had babyfaces winning in almost all of these matches. So I tweaked some stuff up, and here's what I think we're looking at. Let's start off with the finals of the Mae Young Classic. We've got Toni Storm versus Io Shirai. Now, this is going to be a fun match. I did get a chance to watch a lot of the Mae Young tournament this year. I watched more of it than I did last year, and I was entertained by it. These girls can go. And I think looking at this match, I'm going to go Toni Storm. Kairi Sane won last year, and I don't know if you do two Japanese wrestlers winning the Mae Young Classic back-to-back. There would be absolutely nothing wrong with that at all if they did, but I'm wondering if maybe they want to go with Toni Storm this time around. Because not only do wrestlers need to be able to work, they need to be able to cut promos. Rhea Ripley, I'm fucking in love with, and she just, I just see star written all over her. So I think this tournament could have gone to several women, but we got our final two here, and I'm just going to pick Toni Storm to win it. So there you go. In a match that I recently just changed, I had originally picked Kairi Sane to retain the NXT title against Shayna Baszler, but that only left me with one heel winning on this entire pay-per-view, so I think I'm going to change this match. I think I'm going to go Shayna Baszler to regain the NXT title. I'm extremely nervous about this prediction because this rivalry with Kairi Sane dates back a year ago, and I don't know if it continues past Evolution. I just don't. I'm going to reluctantly predict Shayna Baszler to regain the NXT title. In the tag match that they have listed, this one just kind of raises a red flag for me. It's a 6-woman tag, Sasha Banks, Bayley, and Natalya taking on the Riot Squad. Now, this is a match that we see every single Monday night on Raw, or some variation of it. All three of the Riot Squad girls, or two of them, always take on some combination of these three, it seems like, every single week on Raw. Not really Sasha, because she's been out and she's been injured, but it just seems like this is a match that we could easily get on Raw and not pay any attention to and not care about it at all. So why are they having this on Evolution? Just to get these girls on the show? Just to give them a spot on the card? Because that's what it feels like here. So what I'm wondering is maybe we get the heel turn. I mean, how long have we been waiting for this Sasha or Bayley heel turn? This might be where one of them finally turns. If it was up to me, I might go Bayley. I think a lot of us think that if anybody's turning, it'll be Sasha. Let her go back to being a heel. I think she'd be great at that if she wound up turning heel in this match. Fantastic. But I almost think it might be more fun if we got Bayley. Now, I know we've had a lot of heel turns lately. We had Dean Ambrose turning heel on Monday Night Raw. We had Johnny Gargano turning heel on NXT. How fucking awesome was that, by the way? Wish I had more time to get into that, but I did watch NXT this week, and it was really awesome to see, the swerve there with Gargano being the one to attack Aleister Black, and even Tommaso Tommaso Ciampa, saying that he was proud of Gargano on Twitter, and who knows, little DIY reunion is not out of the question. I fucking loved it. But we might not have room for another heel turn, but, when you look at this match, why is it here? It feels like it's literally going to be a buffer in between all the other major shit they got going on. The finals of the Mae Young Classic, the 3 title matches, the Battle Royal, all this stuff. This could be a little buffer bathroom break match, which is what it might turn out to be. But if not, I say turn one of these girls here and have the Riot Squad pick up the win. So regardless of what happens here, I think the Riot Squad needs to win. They're a faction, they're a group, they're a unit. Sasha, Bayley, and Natalya, not so much. We've got the other tag team match as well. We've got 2 legends returning, Trish and Lita, taking on Alexa Bliss and Mickie James. Again, as much as I want to pick the heels here, why bring Trish and Lita in if you're not going to have them win and give them that feel-good moment? Do you credibly have Trish and Lita defeat Alexa and Mickie? 2 girls that are on the roster working full-time. Trish and Lita have been retired for a long time. Would it even be believable or right for these 2 legends to come in there and beat these 2 girls clean? I don't know. So maybe there's some help. Maybe Alexa and Mickie have some people interfere, and then Trish and Lita have, I don't know, Molly Holly or Ivory or somebody from back in the day also make an appearance to help Trish and Lita defeat Alexa Bliss and Mickie James. But I think if you're going to bring Trish and Lita in and the girls are going to get back in the ring for the first time in God knows how long, I think you got to have them win. So I'm picking Trish and Lita in that match. We've got the big women's battle royal for a future WWE women's title shot. I guess you get the title shot against your brand. I seriously doubt they're going to treat this like the Royal Rumble and let them choose which title they want to challenge for, unless they're trying to get a girl over to another brand somehow, and this battle royal is designed to make that happen. I don't know. But when you look at the field for this Battle Royal, I pulled up WWE.com and looked at the preview for this match, and they have all the ladies, in one big screenshot, and I was counting them, and I'm counting 21 women. And we have a lot of legends in this thing from back in the day. We've got Molly Holly, we've got Ivory, we've got Kelly, we got Tori Wilson, Maria Kanellis, and Alundra Blaze. Fucking Medusa is going to be in this Battle Royal. How the hell is that going to work? She's probably going to kick everybody's asses. As a matter of fact, I should probably pick her to win the whole damn thing. But seriously, when you're looking at the field here, who is really a credible winner for this thing? Unless they have a surprise, unless AJ Lee comes back or something like that, when you look at all the women, and fuck it, I'll go ahead and list them right here because they're right in front of me. We've got Tamina, Molly Holly, Michelle McCool, Zelina Vega, Sonya Deville, Mandy Rose, Lana, both the Iconics, Alundra Blaze, Maria Kanellis, Tori Wilson, Kelly, Alicia Fox, Dana Brooke, Carmella, Nia Jax, Ember Moon, Naomi, Ivory, and Asuka. That's what is on WWE.com currently right now. So I believe that's 21 women. Not exactly a round number, so I don't know if they're going to make this Battle Royal 25 or 30. I don't even know how many women are supposed to be in it, but since there's 21, it makes you think there might be a surprise entrant. So let's just say, for argument's sake, there's not going to be any other surprise entrants. This is the field. When you look at it, the only person to me that stands out is Asuka. Now, I know she won the Royal Rumble already. Maybe they don't want to have her win another Battle Royal or whatever, but who the fuck else is going to win this thing? When you look at that field, you can't give, it wouldn't make any sense for Peyton Royce to win it or Alicia Fox or Dana Brooke or anybody like that. You can make an argument for Ember Moon. You could also make an argument for Nia Jax. But the thing with Nia Jax is what we've seen from her lately on TV on Monday Night Raw, she's got this little miniature feud going on with Tamina. And I think WWE has created that situation to have these 2 girls cancel each other out in the Battle Royal. I say Tamina and Nia Jax eliminate each other. Maybe they both go over the top rope at the same time. Maybe Tamina is eliminated by Nia Jax and then she gets back in the ring and eliminates Nia illegally or something like that. Basically, the 2 of them probably just brawl out into the crowd. You know what I mean? I think it's going to be a situation like that. So if Nia Jax is out, it almost has to be Asuka. Maybe Ember Moon. She hasn't done a whole lot since being on the roster. She needs a title shot. I would love to see her challenge for the title. Ember Moon and Ronda Rousey could be a really fun fucking babyface match. Maybe at the Royal Rumble or something. How fun would that be? I'd be perfectly fine with that. But still, I don't see it happening. I think it's going to be Asuka. I think it has to be Asuka. Poor fucking Asuka. I was totally fine with what happened at WrestleMania. Hell, I still am totally fine with what happened at WrestleMania. I thought the match was awesome. I had no problem whatsoever with the streak ending because I thought WWE would give Asuka another shot, get the streak out of the way, get that over with and done, and then she can wind up getting the victory back later on in the year. I thought for sure the 2 girls would work again at SummerSlam, and they never did, and WWE did jack shit with Asuka. That's their fucking fault. Having her lose the streak at WrestleMania didn't bury her. It's what happened afterwards that buried her. So maybe if they're going to attempt to salvage Asuka, this can be the beginning of that. So right now, I'm picking Asuka. But let's also say that there is a surprise of some kind. Who comes into the ring? AJ Lee? Fine, AJ Lee can make a return, but is she really going to win this thing and get a title shot in the future? I don't know if I see that happening. There's one other name that just kind of popped in my head. I think it's unlikely, but she was not on TV this week. Somebody else was in her place. Shane McMahon. What about our SmackDown GM, Paige? What if behind the scenes she's been randomly cleared to return to the ring or something? I think Paige could potentially return to the ring down the line. I thought it would be a couple of years off. She's only recently announced her retirement, so this would be very fast for her to be told one day that you have to retire from wrestling, and then just a mere few months later, oh, never mind, you're good to go to get back in the ring. So I think the Paige idea is very unlikely, but if they were going to bring her back or she was cleared to return, I think bringing her in as a surprise would be a lot of fun, especially if she came in and won this Battle Royal and earned herself a title shot. So aside from some sort of a surprise, I think I'm going to go with Asuka. That leaves us with our two big world title matches. And you know what? I'm going to start with Ronda and Mickie because I don't think and I don't want this match to main event the show. I don't think it should. I think the main event needs to go to Charlotte and Becky, and I think Ronda and Mickie should come earlier in the card. Second match, third match, fourth match, second to last match, whatever, but I don't think the two of them should main event because I don't see a title change happening. A lot of people are mortified by this match. Think it's ridiculous that Nikki's even getting a title shot. I think WWE did the right thing by making the Bellas heel, and now they can play that role, you know, of the delusional fucking quote-unquote legend. You know, all the shit they were saying to Ronda last week on Raw on the mic, you know, in that little exchange, and things getting very personal and very heated, and Nikki is being a straight-up heel bitch. But really, there's no way, not in storyline or real life, that Mickie has any chance to beat Ronda Rousey here. So I said right from the start, if they do this match and they actually do a title change, you have got to really stack the deck on Ronda. I'm talking Brie Bella needs to be out there. You got to have at least one heel turn. Natalya needs to show up and smash Ronda with a chair. Stephanie McMahon needs to be the referee. Brock Lesnar needs to come out there and F5 her, and that's the only way you're going to pry that belt off of Ronda Rousey. She's too strong. WWE has utilized her brilliantly. She's a fucking badass. You know, she's not even losing meaningless matches. I predicted her to lose at the Super Showdown in the 6-woman match. I'm like, yeah, they're going to do the heel turn and the Riot Squad will win. No, she's double tapping out bitches, you know, when I'm thinking that her team is going to lose. So I know that the fans are nervous. I know they're worried. They would hate to see Nikki Bella win the Raw title, especially on a pay-per-view like this that WWE is trying to make very significant. And to a fighter like Ronda Rousey, it almost seems like it would be a slap in the face to the women's division to have something so ridiculously unbelievable take place. So I've said right from the start that unless we get some crazy shit going down, and I mean it's like a 20-on-1 situation and Ronda Rousey is facing an uphill battle that she simply cannot overcome, she is going to rip Nikki's arms off and probably rip her tits off too, is what I said. And I think that's what's going to happen. I think Ronda Rousey, one way or the other here, is going to retain. Worst case scenario, maybe there's a DQ and there's some interference and there's a disqualification or something like that. But I have a really hard time believing that Ronda is going to drop the belt to Nikki because I'm thinking long term. I'm thinking WrestleMania. And when I think WrestleMania, I don't see how the WWE does not do Ronda versus Charlotte. That's your match. That's your money match. Yeah, but what about Becky? And what about this person? And what about that person? I don't fucking care right now. Your match at WrestleMania needs to be Charlotte and Ronda Rousey. And for all of these rumors going around, a lot of people have been talking on social media. I get tweets about it now saying, hey, GoodMicWork, what about the possibility of Charlotte and Ronda Rousey actually main eventing WrestleMania? Well, newsflash for you. I'm pretty sure that I started that rumor. I said it weeks ago that if you're ever going to have a chance for two females to main event WrestleMania, because WWE has been asked this question before. I know Stephanie has, Vince has, lots of people have, and they always say, yes, of course, one day we would like to get to the point where two women will main event a WrestleMania. I think that this is probably the best chance WWE is ever going to have to make that happen, at least for the next few years. So if I'm looking long term and I'm looking to a potential Charlotte versus Ronda match, then I think Ronda needs to be champion all the way until WrestleMania. WrestleMania. She needs to hold the belt from SummerSlam to Mania. She does not need to be dropping it to Nikki along the way, because that's not going to help the big mega match between Ronda and Charlotte. That could be one of your biggest marquee matches on that show. So when you look at the future, I just don't see how you do a Nikki Bella victory here. To me, it would make no sense, and it would do a lot of damage to all the amazing work they've done with Ronda Rousey. Now, I mean, I say damage, that's only if, Ronda were to lose like somewhat clean. If Nikki, has 100 people on her side and they screw Ronda, then fine. She's not any worse for the wear. She just doesn't have the belt anymore. But just a loss in general for Ronda, I think wouldn't do any good. I think Ronda needs to just remain a badass, undefeated monster until WrestleMania. That's going to be a tall order because you still have Stephanie McMahon lurking around. Definitely wants to get revenge on Ronda at some point for all the things Ronda has done to her. And I said right from the start, when Ronda does drop the belt, especially if she drops it to a heel, Stephanie's going to be involved. But maybe she's not. Maybe Ronda continues on her run and then goes into WrestleMania as champion. And then what happens from there, I have no idea. But regardless, I think with Ronda and Charlotte at Mania, one girl is probably going to be champion and the other one is going to win the Royal Rumble. So if Ronda Rousey does lose here to Nikki Bella, then I think maybe Ronda wins the Rumble and challenges a champion Charlotte at Mania, or vice versa, which is what I'm about to get into now. So I say Ronda Rousey defeats Nikki Bella rather handily. I say she taps her out in the whole 9 yards at Evolution. I really, really hope I'm right about that. And on to what I feel should be the main event. These girls have been in WWE for a while now. They put a lot of time, a lot of effort in, and a lot of hard work, and I think they have earned this spot more than Ronda and Nikki Bella. So I really hope the last woman standing match goes on last at the pay-per-view. The only way it might not go on last is if you do some sort of a non-finish. If neither woman get up from the 10 count and they do the match again at Survivor Series or something like that. The only issue I have with that, because a few of you have proposed and pitched this idea of a non-finish to Charlotte and Becky, the only issue I have with that is just a few days later at Crown Jewel, I'm thinking we might see another non-finish in the main event of that show. And if Brock and Strowman main event Crown Jewel and go to a non-finish, and Charlotte and Becky main event Evolution and go to a non-finish, that's going to suck. That's 2 pay-per-view main events within the span of 5 days that have a non-finish. So if you're going to do a non-finish, then I think Charlotte and Becky should not main event Evolution and should go on earlier in the show, and then maybe Ronda and Nikki should main event Evolution. But with all of that being said, I look at the match, and again, I'm looking ahead to WrestleMania. I don't necessarily think Charlotte needs to be champion going into WrestleMania. I think Charlotte, I've got her pegged right now to win the Royal Rumble, which means she's not going to be champion come January. I think she's going to win the Rumble. Ronda is going to stay undefeated as champion, and Charlotte is going to jump to Raw and challenge Ronda for the title. So that means she's either going to have to straight up lose to Becky here, or she's going to have to beat Becky and drop the belt back to her before the Royal Rumble. And that's what I'm predicting, believe it or not. I think Charlotte is going to defeat Becky Lynch and become the SmackDown Women's Champion. I'm watching the build to this on SmackDown. Becky has gotten the better of Charlotte many, many weeks. She's attacked her during photo shoots. This past week on SmackDown, she jumped Charlotte at the NXT Performance Center, and she's just been an evil heel on Charlotte. So I think maybe Charlotte finds a way to beat her, and with a last woman standing match, you can do something weird, like, remember back at WrestleMania 10 when Randy Savage defeated Crush and he tied his legs up and hung him upside down where he couldn't get back to the ring? You could always do something like that. Charlotte could bury Becky under a fucking pile of rubble or something where she can't move and she gets counted out for 10. Do something, book it in some sort of a way to where Becky can come back. And if Charlotte beats her and she reigns supreme and the confetti is coming down and she's celebrating as the new champion to close out Evolution, that also helps build her for Ronda. And then maybe in the next few weeks, maybe at Survivor Series, maybe at the December pay-per-view, you have Becky get the belt back, and then Charlotte begins her course to the Royal Rumble and to jumping over to Monday Night Raw. I know a lot of fans are very touchy about this too. It's so funny how angry people get. Oh, you're going to really bury Becky? Jesus Christ. Nobody's being buried. If you get beat by the best female wrestler in the world, you're not buried, man. It's not a big fucking deal. It's just wrestling. Don't take it so goddamn seriously. So if you're freaking out that I predicted Charlotte and you think it's the worst decision ever, you know what? I really don't fucking care. But that's what I think is going to happen. And I'd be curious to know what you think. Shoot me with your predictions down below. hit me with every match. I want to see what you guys are picking. I really was struggling here. I changed my mind like 3 or 4 different times during the day here when I was writing down my notes. I know there's also a big possibility, I didn't mention this earlier on either, there's a big possibility of some surprises. Now, one idea that was mentioned to me several times on social media was the idea of some sort of a 4 horsewomen versus 4 horsewomen type of angle, because we have Survivor Series on the horizon. And maybe in the Ronda and Nikki Bella match, if Nikki has got some help and she's got all this help from her friends, maybe Ronda has some backup of her own and Shayna Baszler and company hit the ring and help out Ronda. But I don't know if there's even time to set up a 4 horsewomen versus 4 horsewomen match at Survivor Series. I don't see how, because 2 of your wrestling 4 horsewomen, Charlotte and Becky, are trying to kill each other in a last woman standing match. So I certainly can't see them forming an alliance in the next 3 weeks between now and Survivor Series to take on Ronda Rousey and a bunch of her friends, but maybe they could figure that out. If Rousey and her friends beat the shit out of Charlotte, Becky, Sasha, and Bayley, that could set something up for Survivor Series, but to me, it doesn't feel like the storylines will really allow that right now. Maybe in the future, maybe next year, around WrestleMania or after WrestleMania, heading into the summer, they can try to put something like this together. Most of my predictions that I made here, I was taking a lot of consideration into what we're going to see next year going into WrestleMania, because it's going to be here quicker than we think. And we're going to blink an eye and it's going to be the end of the year, and 2019 is going to be upon us and we will be on the road to WrestleMania. So that played a major factor in my thinking here when I was predicting all of these matches. So let me know what you think down below. I got to get the hell out of here and get this thing edited and up to YouTube. Have a great rest of your weekend, and don't forget to check me out this coming Sunday. I will be up here on YouTube live streaming the Evolution pay-per-view. So come hang out. It should be a lot of fun. I will talk to you guys in just a couple of days. Until then, peace.